Hello, guys. I'm Christina. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. From today, I'm going to start an interview series. In this series, I'll cover all the important interview questions and topics. So, if you are a healthcare worker, a nurse, senior nurse, doctor, matron, manager, or even a director, and you are preparing for your interview for NHS or any other healthcare organization, then this series is for you. In this series, each video will cover 1 to 2 important interview topics that will help you to clear your interview in your first attempt. So, today we will be talking about clinical governance. And by the end of this session, you will have a clear, exam ready understanding of what clinical governance means and its 7 key pillars, how to apply these concepts to your own clinical practice and interview answers. So, let's get started. First of all, we'll talk about what is clinical governance. It is a systematic framework through which NHS organizations are accountable for continuously improving the quality of their services while safeguarding high standards of care. It creates an environment where clinical excellence can flourish. If we talk about this in simpler terms, it's about making sure that every patient receives the best possible care safely, effectively, and compassionately, and that we, as healthcare professionals, take responsibility for maintaining and improving those standards. A commonly quoted definition from the Department of Health 1998 is clinical governance is a framework through which NHS organizations are accountable for continuously improving the quality of their services and safeguarding high standards of care and creating an environment in which excellence in clinical care can flourish. So, this definition highlights three key principles. So, first key principle is high standards of care. Second is clear accountability and responsibility. Third is a culture of continuous improvement. And to make this practical, the framework is built upon 7 key pillars. And you think of these as the structural supports that uphold the quality and safety within the NHS. And to remember these 7 key pillars, there's a good mnemonic which is called PARTIES, in which P stands for patient and public involvement, A is for audit, which is clinical audit, R is for risk management, T stands for training and education, I is for information and technology, E is for effectiveness and research, which is evidence based research. And last but not the least, S is for staff management. There are other mnemonics as well, like pirates or ear tips. So you can stick to whichever is best for you. Now, let's break down each pillar in detail. So, first of all, we start with the patient and public involvement. The first pillar focuses on ensuring that patients and the public are at the heart of healthcare decision making because NHS aims at providing patient centered care and clinical government starts with listening. It means understanding whether our services truly meet the needs of people we serve. Patient and public involvement happen in several ways. It can be from different ways, including patient feedback questionnaires, friends and family test responses, and PALS, which is patient advice and licensed service data, and complaints and compliments, public governance on NHS trust boards. These insights are vital. They help us redesign services, improve accessibility, and enhance outcomes. For example, if feedback shows long waiting times in outpatient clinics, that becomes a trigger for service redesign, improved triage, or capacity expansion. Remember, patient experience is a core quality domain, just as important as safety or clinical effectiveness. The other important pillar is clinical audit. So, clinical audit is the backbone of continuous improvement. It means comparing clinical practice against predefined evidence based standards, identifying any gaps, implementing changes, and then re auditing to see if improvement occurred. The audit cycle has 5 key stages. First one is identifying a problem or topic. Then second one is setting the standards or criteria. Third is collecting data. Fourth is analyzing results and implement change. And five is re-audit. For example, auditing antibiotic prescribing in pneumonia against knife guidelines. You can check compliance, make improvements, and remeasure. Audits are not about blame, but about learning and improving. They demonstrate that services are accountable, transparent, and focused on measurable outcomes. So, this was about clinical audit. Now, we'll talk about another important pillar, which is risk management in healthcare. In healthcare, things can go wrong. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and reducing risk to patients, staff, and the organization. Its aim is to create robust systems that prevent harm and to ensure learning from incidents when things go wrong. So, for this includes incident reporting, which is very important, obviously. It has got DETICS or other similar systems. And it also includes root cause analysis, which is very, very important. And learning from never events, learning from near events and near misses. Then developing risk registers, it is also an essential part of this pillar. And promoting a just culture where staff can report mistakes without fear of punishment. Because if someone feels fear of punishment, they never report mistakes and we will never be able to identify near misses. So, creating any such system in which staff feels safe, it is very much important. So, allowing the organization to learn and improve rather than assign blame. And the examples include the duty of conduct policy and learning from national reports, such as those from CQC, NHS England, or Healthcare Safety Investigation Branch, which is also known as HSIB. So, this was about this pillar, and the other is training and education. To ensure that everything is done effectively, training and education is very, very important, and it is vital for maintaining safe and effective care as well. This pillar ensures that all healthcare staff have the right knowledge, skills, and competencies to do their jobs properly. And it includes induction and mandatory trainings like infection control, safeguarding, resuscitation, and all the important necessary trainings as well for the new staff and for the staff, which includes continuing professional development known as CPD. So, NHS always gives continuing professional development or opportunities to its employees to ensure effective care to the patients. It also includes study leave and funding for courses or conferences, annual appraisals and revalidation, feedback and mentorship. In practice, this means NHS Trust should support and encourage staff to engage in learning, whether it's simulation learning, postgraduate exams, or even reflective practices. And when staff learn and grow, patient care improves automatically. And the next pillar is information and technology. In this world of emerging technology, it is very important to incorporate this in healthcare to ensure that patients receive effective care and they always receive the care efficiently. This pillar ensures that accurate, timely, and secure information supports. So, the key aspects include compliance with the data. So, the key aspects include compliance with the Data Protection Act 2018 and UK GDPR, confidentiality and information security, accurate clinical coding and documentation, use of IT systems such as EPR, which is known as Electronic Patient Record, data dashboards for monitoring performance and quality indicators. Technology also helps to detect trends, predict risk, and track outcomes. For example, using News to Score, which is National Early Warning Scores, or electric patient or electric prescribing alerts. So this proper information government isn't just about paperwork. It's about patient safety and trust. The next pillar is effectiveness, research, and evidence-based research. So clinical effectiveness means doing the right thing at the right time for the right patient using the best available evidence. This involves following national guidelines like SIGN, NICE, or local trust policies, applying results from audits and clinical research, conducting clinical trials, or quality improvement projects. Research drives innovation and it allows us to move from this and it allows us to move from this is how we have always done it to this is what actually works. Evidence based medicine integrates three key elements. Number one, best current evidence. Number two, clinical expertise. Number three, patient values and preferences. And this ensures that care is personalized, effective, and scientifically sound. Now we will discuss about the last pillar, which is staff management. This final pillar focuses on supporting and managing the workforce because quality care depends on a well trained, motivated team. This includes recruiting the right people to the right roles, providing supportive supervision and mentorship, addressing performance issues constructively, promoting well being and work life balance, encouraging diversity and inclusion. And when staff feel valued and supported, retention improves, their morale rises, and patients receive better care. Leadership, emotional importance, and compassionate management are key here, and especially in the post pandemic NHS. Now, if we talk about bringing it all together, so clinical governance is not just a policy or a document, it's a culture that runs through every level of the NHS. And it ensures that patients are central to every decision, services are continuously improved, and risks are managed. Learning never stops here, and staff are empowered to deliver excellence. And when asked in an exam or interview, so this was all about clinical governance. And if you are asked in any exam or interview structure, so this was all about clinical governance. And if you are asked in an exam or in any interview to structure an answer like this, and if it is exam, so this was all about clinical governance. And if you are asked in any exam or interview, you can structure your answer like this. First of all, you can start with the definition. If you are asked about any certain topic, you have to start with the definition. Okay, and talking about the clinical governance, if you are asked about clinical governance, you can start with the definition. You can mention the 7 pillars using your chosen mnemonic, and you can briefly explain each pillar with a real world example from your experience. And that's clinical governance in a nutshell. And that's clinical governance in a nutshell. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your colleagues or study groups. Thank you for watching, and always remember, quality care begins with accountability and continuous learning. See you next time. Bye. See you next time. All the best for your interview. And to get more important topics about your interviews, stay tuned with this interview series and watch my other videos related to interviews. See you next time. All the best for your interview. And to get
like to prepare.
Okay. To prepare?
प्रिपेयर ही कर रहे हैं ना इंटरव्यू के लिए, तो गेट कर रहे हैं,
मैं कह रही हूँ to get other important.
to prepare for your other topics.
See you next time. All the best for your interview. To prepare for other topics, stay tuned with this series. And to get more topics and questions for your interview, keep watching my videos. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time से
मैंने 2 बार बोला है, मुझे पता है.
हाँ एक काम करो ना, so okay, so for okay, अब हमने बोल दिया, okay, this is the clinical governance, etc. Okay, now to prepare for another, so now to To prepare for another topics, stay tuned with this series. To prepare for another topic, stay tuned with this series.
To prepare for other the topics related to interview.
हाँ, to prepare to हाँ जो बोला तुमने, stay tuned with this series. My name is Krishna. Again, my name is Krishna here. छोड़ दो. And okay, signing off. All the best.
Yeah, for now.
For now, signing off.
I heard.
ठीक है.
Great.
All the best. So all the best for now.
Okay, तो मैं
And-
start कहाँ से करूँ?
जो तुमने बोला तो sentence.
See you next time.
नहीं सुने. To prepare for another topic.
ठीक है. ठीक है.
पीछे थोड़ा सा. हाँ.
To prepare for another topics related to interview, stay tuned with this series and I'll see you next time with another important topic. All the best for your interview. See you next time. Bye.